Hi guys, it's Rachel and welcome back to my channel. And today we've got a really fun kind of like throwback recipe. If you guys have been following my channel for a long time, you'll know I used to do easy bake oven videos where I actually had like a little mini easy bake oven sitting right over there on my shelf now. And I would show you guys how to make desserts with that oven, basically like using a light bulb to cook everything. And then recently, I noticed you guys really enjoyed the mini fortune cookie video. So I thought, why not kind of like combine the two and do some more mini desserts in an easy bake oven. So I straight up went out to Toys R Us. I picked up my easy bake oven, which was harder than I thought it was gonna be. The ultimate kinds that are like white and everything are sold out at a lot of places. So I drove like half hour away from my house. Actually, I didn't drive, my mom drove because my driving is I'm working on it. As an Asian woman, I am going to be the best driver you've ever seen, defying stereotypes left and right. My social justice aside, this oven is super cute, I think. I went ahead and like DIY'd it and changed it up and everything, just so it looks a little more like Kawaii Sweet World. And if you guys want to know how I did that, then head on over to my website. I'm gonna put the video over on my website just because I thought this video was gonna be way too long otherwise. So if you guys want to see that, head on over to my website over at kawaiisweetworld.com. Quick plug. But anyways though, today we are making these super adorable miniature cakes. I love the little miniature cake domes. I love decorating them. And even if you don't have like a little easy bake oven like I do, then I'm gonna put some instructions over on my website of how you can kind of like artificially create the same conditions. But overall, I am super excited to be starting this like miniature dessert series on my channel. I could see us doing some savory food too. Like I'm thinking some mini pizzas or something like that. So if you guys want to see more of these videos, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe so you don't miss out on my videos. And without further ado, let's get started. To make our yellow cake, you're going to start off with a 1/3 cup of flour, then add in 2 tablespoons of sugar, along with 1/8 of a teaspoon of baking soda and 1/8 teaspoon of baking powder, and then finish that off with 1/8 teaspoon of salt. I know it seems a little bit weird to be using 1/8 of a teaspoon, but I did try using 1/4 teaspoon, and then you could actually taste the leavener, and it has a really weird aftertaste, so you definitely have to go with 1/8 of a teaspoon, basically just a pinch. Then in a separate bowl, you'll want a 1/4 cup of room temperature milk. Throw in 2 tablespoons of butter, and then melt that down in the microwave until it is nice and smooth. So something like this is perfect, just nice and smooth and melted through. Then you want to throw in a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract and mix that in as well. Once you've got that good to go, go ahead and pour it into your dry ingredients and gently fold that in. You might notice a few lumps here and there, but it's totally fine. It just means your cake is going to be nice and fluffy. Then we're just going to pour this into our greased easy bake oven rectangular tin. You'll want to pour in about half the batter there and then just spread that out. You'll also want to tap out any air bubbles at this point. Now you'll just want to bake this off in your little easy bake oven that's been preheating for about 20 minutes. And that's going to take about 12 to 13 minutes to bake. In the meantime, we can make our frosting. You're going to start off with 4 tablespoons of basically half melted butter. That might sound a little bit weird, but the goal for this was to be able to mix it completely by hand, so you are going to need that really soft consistency. Now throw in a 1/2 cup of powdered sugar and just mix that in. Once that's mixed in, add in a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. It's going to look kind of like mashed potatoes, and then you're just going to add in 2 to 3 tablespoons of powdered sugar. The reason I like to add in the vanilla first is so you can judge the consistency better, just because the vanilla is going to make it a little bit thinner. And now our cake should be all ready to go. So you can see this bakes up super perfectly. And even though it is like an easy bake oven cake, this is actually a really good cake recipe. It's super moist, even though it's like a 1/2 inch thick. And then once your cake has had a chance to cool down, you'll just want to tap it out of the pan. And then repeat for a second cake as well. Once those have cooled down completely, you can just go ahead and grab some different cookie cutters and just cut out whatever shapes you would like for your cakes. For me, that basically just meant cutting out a whole bunch of different sizes of circles. Although I did make one heart cake just for a little bit of variety and because I had the right size cookie cutters. Now I got this little mini cake dome from Michael's, and I'll leave a link to it down below if I can find it, but I just piped out some buttercream frosting and then I laid down my first cake layer. And then basically we're just gonna go for a tiered cake here, so these are just getting progressively smaller. And then I just took some more buttercream frosting with a tiny star tip. I believe that's a Wilton number 18 tip, and I'm just going to pipe out a shell border. Then I'm going to add on some sprinkles just for a little bit of color. And then I ended up using tweezers to add these on. Might seem a little bit crazy, but if you dip your tweezers in a little bit of that buttercream, the sprinkles are basically just gonna stick to them, so it's a lot easier to add these on. Once that's been sufficiently sprinkled, I'm just gonna add on some more stars on top. And then just some more sprinkles. To finish it off, I just added 2 hearts on the top. And that is how you make this cute little tiered cake. So adorable, and it fits perfectly in the cake dome too. Super satisfying. Moving on to a different cake design, here you can see we have a really teeny tiny one, and I got this little cake stand from a miniature store, meaning that they sell miniature things for doll houses, not like the store itself was miniature, although that would be cool too. I'll try to leave a link to a similar cake stand down below though. And to decorate this one, I'm just adding on a heart sprinkle and then some little white pearl sprinkles. And then moving on to kind of like my birthday cake design, I'm just piping on some little stars right here. Then I'm going to sandwich another layer on top. And then I'm just going to flat frost the top of the cake as best I can. This is a little bit tricky to do just because the cake itself is so tiny and light that any amount of pressure tends to tip it one way or the other, but you can make it work. And then I'm just going to pipe on some more little buttercream stars. And I'll add on some sprinkles, along with a little heart sprinkle in the center. And this one is adorable too, I love it. And now we're gonna make some chocolate glazed cakes. These are super fun too. So you're gonna start off by melting down a 1/4 cup of chocolate chips. This is a little bit too thick to pour over our cakes now though, so we're gonna add in 2 teaspoons of canola oil, and then mix that through. Now it should be nice and smooth and thin and perfect for our cakes. So now here I just have some more little cakes. I'm just gonna fill the inside with the buttercream, and you can smooth it out a little bit if you'd like to, then pop on another layer. And now I'm just going to pour over the chocolate glaze. This looks so beautiful. Kind of reminds me of like a chocolate mirror glaze. To ensure that chocolate drips all the way down the sides of the cake, you'll also want to tap down the cooling rack just to help that glaze drip down. Then once you've got that ready to go, just grab a thin spatula and pick up your cake. And you can run this back and forth along the cooling rack to help remove any of those drips. At this point, you'll want to very carefully transfer this to a plate, which I did not do very successfully, you can see. I couldn't do this on camera just because of the angle, but I did eventually get it onto the plate. And then to decorate, I just sprinkled over some nonpareils around the outside of the cake. If you end up with a few stragglers, just kind of cover them up with some more chocolate. To neaten up the edges, I also piped on a little shell buttercream border. And then to finish it off, I just piped on the word love. And now this guy is finished as well. Then I also just decorated another chocolate one. Here I'm just doing kind of like a classic birthday cake look. And I'm adding on some sprinkles after piping on that border. And then I finished it off with a heart sprinkle. And now on to our final cake. This one is pretty simple too. I just did a shell border along with some stars on top. And I added on some sprinkles, along with a big red heart sprinkle. And that is how you make these miniature cakes. These are so much fun to make, and not only do they look super cute, but these actually taste really good too. I did a lot of recipe testing to really nail down that moist yellow cake recipe, along with the perfect consistency for the chocolate glaze and the buttercream, and in the end, these just taste as good as they look. Alright guys, our mini cakes are finished now, and I think that these are so cute. They're so much fun to make too. It reminds me of like playing Operation, like using the tweezers and everything. If you're in the market for a surgeon that can do like 2 different things, then hit me up. But anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already for lots more recipes like this one. You can also follow me on social media at kawaiisweetEats, and then check out our website over at kawaiisweetworld.com for the full recipe, and I will see you guys all very soon. Bye guys!